here with Learning to Trust God with Chronic Illness. And in this video, I would like to look at the whole concept of special events or special occasions, which a lot of people look forward to. Things like birthdays or Christmas, Easter, celebrations, gatherings, travel, all these things that a lot of people look forward to. But for those of us with CFS and FM, sometimes it can be a real challenge because it requires getting out of our routine and also extra energy to either travel or to socially engage with others. And along with that, internal expectations of what the experience will be like, as well as external expectations of others, hoping that you'll be able to attend and be present for the festivities. Even though these occurrences are not what you call daily, they do actually happen quite frequently. And they can include things like travel. They include festive times of year, like I mentioned, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. It could be holidays, vacation times, expectations of holidaying with others. It can also be family and friend-oriented events. Say, for example, birthdays or weddings. Or it could be illnesses that relatives are going through and friends. It could be deaths and funerals. It could be the mental illness of others in your life. It could be even having people over to your house for dinner and hosting for longer periods of time as well. So being a host to others in your home. It could even be going out for a meal at a restaurant or going out for a doctor's appointment. Or for me, dentist appointments are one of the most stressful times of the year for me. For some with CFS, any trip out of the house at all is a traumatizing experience and takes a lot of energy out of their capacity. For me, as my health has weakened, sometimes even going to Bible study groups or meeting up for social times can actually be a challenge as well. So I have to ebb and flow with my health at the time, whether or not I'm able to go to Bible study or to meet up with friends. And I often tell my friends that it'll be a game time decision whether I'll be able to play that night, so to speak. So these are ways that I'm learning to communicate to others, my availability, dependent on my health. As I mentioned, these special events can often come with expectations. I know that for me personally, when I think of vacation or travel, I think of great times gathering around tables with friends and family during the festive seasons, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, celebrating even our faith in Jesus and the different rhythms and seasons of the year. But oftentimes my expectations are much greater than what my capacity is for relating to others, for doing activities. And so I have to learn to adjust my expectations. Also, I know that there are expectations of others. So it could be church expectations for me to be present at different church services or to be involved and to go to small groups and have small group gatherings. I know especially during the Christmas time and also the end of the school year, there's extra small group meetings to celebrate the end of the year or to celebrate Christmas, and these also have extra social expectations. In all these expectations and all these different festive times of year or vacations and travel, the post-exertion malaise is paramount to understand and to know your limits. This is oftentimes where many people with CFS and FM experience crashes or post-exertion malaise when they push too hard and can go into a crash state, and it takes a long time for them to recover and get their energies back and capacity. And so there are different strategies you can do to help during this time when you come to a special event. And here are a couple of thoughts. The first one is preemptive rest, and this means that you have planned rest before, during, and after the special event. This means that if you have an extended travel time, gathering with people for a festive season, taking extra time before that time to have less in your schedule and to have more times of rest and just have times of quiet where you can make sure that you have as much energy as possible heading into that special event. And then during the event, pacing yourself to know how much you can engage with others that will keep you in a healthy state and when to pull away, taking rest breaks in between, and then taking rest after. So making sure you don't have too much in your schedule again, and you're allowing yourself to recover and to rest. And so you give yourself the best recovery option. The best recommended rest is to lie down with your eyes closed and to allow your body to have full rest. This has worked the best for me. The second way to prepare for a special event is actually detailed planning. And this requires thinking through what you're going to be doing, understanding what the expectations of others are for activities, and then writing them down and seeing which ones that are priority for you to personally think of doing. It is also a good time to define your limits and to make it known to others or prepare what you're going to say to others when they want to do lots of events and you're only able to do some of them, and doing it respectfully and expressing desire to want to do things, wishing that you could, but knowing that your body does not have that capacity to do it. You always have to think about as well is maybe delegating some responsibilities to others. So having your family help you or friends help you with planning the travel, maybe helping you think through things together and do some planning and timing things, pacing, helping you to pace, help you have that outside accountability. Also too, making sure you sometimes just substitute things. So for example, on a recent trip that my family took to visit my sister-in-law, my family wanted to go to downtown Seattle to Pike Market, and I had just driven down the day before and was quite exhausted and stressed by driving through the traffic and such, and so I had no desire to go back downtown to Seattle again the next day. And so I decided instead I would go visit a car museum that was just a few minutes away, and it was very quiet and very restorative. So sometimes you just have to substitute things and say, I'm not going to be able to go with my family here, but I'd like to do something else instead. Other things you can do is just simplify, saying that, the family's gathering together for this meal. It'll probably be a couple hours long for meal prep and eating and then cleaning up after. And so just saying that I'm going to do my best to be fully present and engaged in the conversation for maybe half an hour to 45 minutes of that time. And so simplifying, but also sometimes just eliminating altogether different events and saying that I just don't have the energy to do all these, and I'm fine with that. Working through your emotions of maybe feeling left out or resentful, that's always a part that comes in. But at least you've made decisions to safeguard your health in that moment. So as you can see, special events actually play a big role in our lives as human beings, and they're so important. They can sometimes be a challenge for us with CFS, but you don't want to completely ignore them and just stay away, but learn how to engage at a level you can engage with others and with travel and with activity. And some of those processes are by which you can get rest before, during, and after. You can prioritize and plan what you're going to do during your time, and then also communicate that with others. So clarifying and making expectations known, both on their part and for us as well. And so hope that is helpful for you. Every one of us is a creature made by God, and we are limited in our capacity for energy and for activities. Of course, there's a huge variance in terms of even human beings. Some are very content to just have quiet days with little activity. Others are just very go-go and need a lot of energizing activities to keep them alive and feeling well. And so it's important to recognize that too. But every one of us has limitations for social capacity, for physical, for mental. And that's why God made us creatures that need to replenish and renew through rest and through sleep and relaxation, all these renewals. And so, and also a balance between the physical, mental, and social as well. And also too, just that sense of learning to enter into the rest that God has promised us, that in Hebrews it says that we must make every effort to enter that rest, meaning that God rested from all his work at the end of creation, and he calls us into resting in his work through his creation, but also his redemption through Jesus, and we can enter into that rest as well. I, for one, am very thankful for a Christian tradition where in our calendar year we celebrate the different Christian celebrations. I find that I can even imagine living without them, that they are times of reflection and remembering the story of God's work in our world, in our cultures, in my own personal life as well, in my family's life, and reflecting on just God's goodness and graciousness to us. And so, I do see the value of having these special events and things like birthdays and honoring those who have lived another year. All these good things that we can celebrate, and to bring our story under God's story and to remember our connection to him. But at the same time, learning that, okay, my expectations in the past for what I could do and where I could travel and how I could be with family and friends and do all the activities they wanted to do. Now I have a little bit more flexibility and understanding that I need to be careful. And I hope that you can see that for your life.